Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity. All right, it's the brother Yashawan, back with the World War III Daily Update. We're going to keep this quick. All right, just briefly going to bring out some scriptures, some precepts to show what is going on. What ultimately is going on, Salaki. And what's going on is God, the one you call God, whose name is Yahweh, setting up an ambush, right, to put down all the militaries of all the countries of the world, all these different nations, China, okay, Russia, Canada, the United Snakes, the UK, Australia, all of them, right? He's going to lure them into a trap, okay? He's going to set up an ambush for them, all right? How is he going to do that? He's going to make them fight each other first. He's going to lure them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, all right? Jehoshaphat in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat. Yahweh is the name of the Most High. Shaphat means judgment, the valley of God's judgment, all right? He's going to lure all of the militaries of all the countries down to fight each other in World War III. And while World War III is going on, he's going to send his own army, which are the angels, and the one that the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, going to send them in to put down all of those militaries. And after all those militaries are put down, they can no longer defend their country. So every country with those militaries are going to fall into ruin and be able to be easily overtaken because the only thing that's protecting those countries is their military. Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense. And what God, whose name is Yahweh, is going to do through his Son, he's going to set up the kingdom of heaven where all these countries, right, all these heathen, right, the Gentiles, if you will, are going to be subject to the children of Israel, right? Because the King of Kings will be set up in rulership at that time. All right, so let's go over it. All right, let's start from the last war. This is the ambush right here. All right, when God sends in his angels, starting with his Son, whose name is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, right? With Michael the archangel and the rest of the archangels, right? And the angels, an innumerable amount of angels, right? In their war chariots. Let's look at their war chariots, okay? This is what you keep hearing about. They keep hiding it. They don't want you to know the truth. Okay? Well, here's the truth. This is God's army here, right? And this is just giving you a visual so you'll understand. These things have been around from the beginning of time, from the beginning of the creation of the earth. All right? We could go to the scripture, right? In the beginning, let's get that real quick. Genesis 1. Okay? It says, in the beginning, God, this word God is plural, so it's in the beginning, the gods, right, created the heaven and the earth. This word right here is, you know it as Elohim, The men of the Lord know it as Elohim, right? And it's plural, all right? The gods, right? One of those gods there is the one that you know as Jesus Christ, whose name is Yahweh Shah. He was there in the beginning, all right? And we can go to John real quick and prove that. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'll do it right after this. All right? It says this, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. What does this word mean, moved? All right, let's look at that. Because it translates to the word hovered. Okay? What does it say? And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. What was hovering? This was hovering. It's that word hovering. These things don't hover. All right, anyway, just showing you, all right, that we know what we're saying here. All right. All right, back to Revelation. Okay? This is the ambush where God, and when I say God, I mean Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, meaning God in the name of Jesus, right? Puts down all the other nations. And there was a war in heaven. This word heaven is talking about the sky, in the sky above, just like you see right here. All right? And there was a war in heaven. Michael, the archangel Michael, and his angels fought against the dragon. All right? Right? This is the dragon. Okay? Represents the dragon. And the dragon fought. And his angels. Let's put the word blue in front of angels. And the dragon fought, and his blue angels. Get the picture? All right? And prevailed not. Okay? So this is the ambush part of World War III. God is going to lure all of the armies of the world down into the Middle East, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and then he's going to launch a surprise attack on them, and he's going to make them fight each other. And who's going to win? And the dragon prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Let's get this word heaven. And there was a war in heaven. All right? And war broke out in heaven. This is the NIV. Then war broke out in heaven. Then there was a war in heaven. English Standard. Now war arose in heaven. Okay? Berean King James, New King James. All right? NASB. Let's go down here. And Aramaic. And there was a war in heaven. All right, keep going down. New Heart English Bible version. There was a war in the sky. Michael and his angels made war on the serpent. The serpent and his angels made war in the sky. Okay? Here's what's going on. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called. Here's the white horse. Horsepower. Much more power than this. All right? Look at the weapons. All right? You see them? What does this have? Because you're going to get your ass whooped according to the scriptures here. All right? So there's a war in the sky. And there was a war in the sky, Michael and his angels, The UFOs, which the angels are in, fought against the war chariots of the earth. And the war chariots of the earth got their ass kicked and were sent tumbling down to the ground. All of the war chariots, the International Space Station, your Sputniks and whatever satellites you got up there, all of that, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay? Let's get more on this. We'll go to the Apocrypha. We'll go to 2nd Ezra. We'll go to 13. Okay? 2nd Ezra 13, we'll start at 1. All right? And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong. Who's that man? That's the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. With the thousands of heaven. Who are the thousands of heaven? Right? Thousands of got to prove all things with the scriptures. Where's it at? You know, it's in Psalms, so it's hiding from me. Where? Salakia. Well, here we go. It's going to make me look it up. Bear with me. All right, this is what I'm looking for here. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of thousands. Salakia. Right here. Chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai. Who's the Lord? In the holy place. Okay. All right. The chariots of God you understand? Chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. Second Kings 2 and 11. As they were walking along and talked together, suddenly a chariot, swing low, suddenly a chariot of fire with the horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up into heaven in a whirlwind. And as Elisha watched, he cried out, my father, my father. What is this? And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, my father, the chariot of Israel. It beamed Elijah up. Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. What happened there? Okay. He got beamed up into one of these. That's why they don't want you to know what they are. What happened to Jesus Christ when he left? All right. Well, he was beamed up. All right. Start at 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord. Who's Lord? Yahushua. Lord Jesus. All right. All right. And when he had spoken these things, who's he? Jesus. While they beheld, who's he? Jesus was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Okay? And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, was being beamed up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. How? In the clouds. In the clouds. When he comes back, said, which is taken up from you, shall so come in like manner as it said, this same, what is it? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come as in second coming, in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. Let's get the second coming. Revelation 1 and 7. We've got to do this. Behold, who is he? Jesus. What is this? The revelation of Jesus, whose name is Yahushua. Here's how you say that name in the ancient Hebrew. Yahushua. The revelation of Yahushua. All right. Behold, who's that? Him, cometh with clouds. What cloud? This cloud. Bear with me, we'll get there. And every eye shall see him. This is the second coming. All right? We go back. The angels said, hey, when he comes back, he's coming back the same way you saw him leave. Said, this same Jesus which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as you've seen him go in. He's coming back the same way. How? Let's get this real quick. Let's get what's this? What's this? 20 things you somehow missed in Independence. What the hell is this? This is Jesus coming back. Okay? What is this thing? What are they showing you? This is the second coming of
Unprotected
Jesus.
machines like this one are ripe for random phishing attacks.
Why are they portraying it like that?
If moms...
Why are they showing you as Jesus as the bad guy? Because to the people that made this movie, he is the bad guy. He's coming back to save his people. He's coming back to put down the armies of the world. Come on. What are we looking at here? What are they in? They're in the chariots, buddy. What's that? What are these things? All right, anyway, let's get out of here. All right, we're off on a tangent. Let's get back. Okay? Let's get to the clouds. Right? Behold, he cometh with clouds. What's this? That's a cloud. Let's prove it. This has everything to do with World War III. Okay? Psalm 104. O Lord, my God, thou art very great. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who covers thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain, sometimes referred to as come around the mountain. The song is derived from the Christian spiritual known as When the Chariot Comes. The original song was published in Old Plantation Hymns in 1899. It ostensibly refers to the second coming. I didn't write this. Wikipedia. The second coming of Hamashiach and the subsequent rapture, with the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. Driving, all right? She'll be coming around the mountain. Let's get the mountain. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, with the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Do we got to go back to this? Where is it? Independence Day, UFO. Trembling. They tremble. Now, if you go back and you watch Independence Day, they got Will Smith in a fighter jet, right? Fighting against the so-called UFOs, which is ridiculous. And somehow he wins. Okay? What is this? What is this? What's this? What are they showing you? What's this?
What are you shooting at? Where you at, baby?
Now, of course they flipped it and they made these wicked ass devils, including Will Smith, who is a devil, right? Even though he's an Israelite, he's a wicked ass Israelite making these movies that are upside down. They made the angels the bad guys, right? Somehow God and the angels are the bad guys. Jesus Christ is the bad guy, right? And Will Smith overcomes God and the angels. No, doesn't work like that. But my point is, what are we looking at?
Come on! Come on!
We're looking at, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels, which represents the so-called UFO, fought against the dragon. Will Smith represents the dragon and his blue angels. And we're watching it. They're showing it to you.
Oh, you can't eat nothing!
Now let's watch it for real. This is a movie. Now let's watch it for real. Now let's watch it for real. I don't know if they're going to show it to me. Let's see. Let's see. Pentagon. Pentagon UFO. Pentagon UFO. Come on. What's this? What's all this?
Tonight.
Okay, that was the movie. This is real life.
This all ends up getting printed as a front page story in the New York Times, and in September of 2019, the government says, yeah, those videos, they're authentic. Last year, they formally released the videos themselves, and in the last month or so, a California filmmaker...
You see the
named Jeremy
crosshairs
Cope-
right there? This is FLIR, I believe. A FLIR system where it's a tracking. So this is a war chariot. It's like a F-18, whatever it is. Could be a helicopter, right? And they have in their sights, in the crosshairs, what you call a UFO, what the Bible calls the chariots of Israel. So this is real, all right? This is a wrong video.
There's a whole fleet of them.
This morning, a report that the government cannot explain those mysterious objects caught on video by the...
But we're explaining it all day right out of the Bible, okay? Now, back to who maketh the clouds his chariot. How is Jesus coming back? Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the wailing and gnashing of teeth. This. Is every eye seeing it? Every eye is seeing this. And they scared, they're running. Why? Because the laser beams are about to start coming. So these people know that what we're saying, the men of the Lord are breaking it down. We're showing you out of the Bible. They know that what we're saying is real. Where's the laser? Ah, they didn't show it anyway. Let's get out of there. Okay, so back to the war. Okay? And when so the voice that went out of his mouth, wait a minute. That. Here's the voice coming out of his mouth. Let's watch the voice. The voice coming out of his mouth, the mouth is going to open. That's the mouth opening. Now we'll watch the voice. Let's get the hell out of here. And here comes the voice. That's the White House. There's Satan and his angels. Here come, these are the heavenly hosts. The thousands of heaven. Here's the dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. That's them right there. That's the devil. The great red dragon. The nation of Edom. In the movie it shows that, oh, we overcame God and the angels. I don't think so. Time's up. Here's the voice. And the voice that went out of his mouth burning that ass up. Concentrated fire. That's what a laser is. Okay? Now, let's go back for some understanding. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Okay? And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. When they saw that chariot pull up like that, they were scared as hell. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, that laser, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. What is Will Smith doing? All the armies of the world are going to be down in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East, right? And then God is going to send the angels and his son to take these armies down, okay? All right? That's the war in heaven, okay? Let's get it again. Got to slow walk you through this. All right. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Right? And the dragon fought and his blue angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. The great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out on the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay? Now, how is he going to get them all in the same place? All right? Well, we got to get World War III. Now, wait. Hold on real quick. Okay? After this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue. This is talking about World War III. Gathered together a multitude of men out of number. Okay? But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great coming around the mountain, and flew up upon it. Here's the great mountain. He flew up upon it. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. What mountain? She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. The chariot was so big, Ezra's like, well, where? They had to cut it out of a mountain range somewhere. Right? He's expounding upon how big the chariot was. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, because World War III was going on, then they had to stop World War III and then fight against the angels who launched the surprise attack. All they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. They were scared shitless, but they fought anyway. Okay? And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, all right, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only as I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was left to be perceived, only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. See that mouth opening up? You see them lasers coming out? Only dust and smell of smoke. Right here. And let's go down a little bit. Second Ezra 13 and 27. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he neither held sword nor instrument. Ezra's just trying to explain what he saw. He's doing the best that he can with the language at the time. Nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude. That means everybody fighting over in World War III. Destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. All right? All right? Now, here's World War III. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have won against another. The battle they have won against another is World War III. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. So they're going to call an end to World War III for a minute to fight the angels coming after them. Because God is going to set them up in an ambush. All right? Now, we'll go to the gathering. Joel 3. Why? Why is he going to do this? This is God. It says, the Lord judges the nations. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. He's setting up the ambush. and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. This is why he's going to do that. Why is he going to do it? Because of what these nations did to his people. NIV. I will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I put them on trial for what they did to my inheritance, for what they did to my people Israel, because they scattered my people among the nations and divided up my land. There will I judge them for harming my people. What? For what they did to my people. Yoke of iron. Okay? What did they do to my people? Where's Kunta Kinte in there? Let me pull up some hanging from. Let me get Without Sanctuary real quick. Let's look at some of these. Without Sanctuary. What happened here? Is this all good? This is all good. Look at this. This is a sport. Look at these postcards. Okay? Hey, look at this woman. These are the people of the Lord. Now, let's go back. I will gather all the armies. I will gather all the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. If you go back and watch the video right before this one, is dealing with the Native American Indians, all right, which, where they at? Where'd that go? YouTube, Independent, Pentagon. Without Sanctuary. Oh, here it is. All right. Let's go back a little bit. What's this? Go back and watch the previous video. It says hidden information on the Native Americans. Go back and watch that because it has to do with this. Uh-oh. I will gather. Why is World War III happening right now? This is the World War III daily update. Why is it going on? Because God is creating it. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's talking about the Middle East. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations. If you go back and watch the previous video, it's going to show you the scattering, okay? Right here. The armies of the world. Okay? Here's what's going on. I will gather all nations, bring them in the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will gather all nations, right? Enter into judgment on behalf of my people. Enter into judgment, and I will execute judgment upon them. I will plead with them. I will set out my case against them there on behalf of my people. You, for what you did, what you're doing, shooting us in the back right now, sticking needles in our arms. We know what that is. Enter into judgment, execute judgment. All right? Here's why. Okay, now let's go back. All right. Proclaim, this is Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war and wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves. The Most High God is setting all the armies of the world up. Let the heathen, right, the other nations, be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. All right. Now that we've gotten through that, now we can watch some videos. Now that we know what is going on, and give a damn if you agree with it or not. Put your thumbs down up there. Let's see how many thumbs down we can get for the truth. And stay the fuck away from my page if you don't like what God is doing here. And be careful, because if you scoff at this truth, guess who knows it? Scoff at the truth. All right? Dare you. All right? So we'll go to, I think it's Deep Journal. Let me see. I want to see this. Breaking. All right, this is Deep Journalist channel. Breaking. Russian jets raid NATO meeting. It says NATO will what? Benefit from Putin's move. It says electricity cutoff. That's very important, because
See, most CRMs are
they have these cyber attacks going on. So did they they shut the power down at a NATO meeting? Let's see what's going on here.
Welcome to the Deep Journalist. You can subscribe to our channel to be informed about military developments in the world. Military crises. They are always an indispensable part of the world. Although common in many parts of the world, this is not the case. The business originated in Afghanistan or the Middle East and currently focuses on the Black Sea between Turkey and Russia. So much so that while waiting for a possible conflict in the Pacific, we turned our eyes to the Black Sea. Because the ships of America, England and many other countries are stuck at this point. Let's dig deeper to understand the facts. As a matter of fact, the reason for the start of these events is Ukraine and Russia. So these ships didn't come here all of a sudden. However, this tension, which was experienced frequently in history, would not bring American ships to the region and the event would somehow be closed. Of course, this was not always the case. It was expected to explode at some point anyway. Ukraine wants to have a say in the region as well as the tensions with Russia. Because militarily they are weaker than Russia. But by closing in different ways, they aim to be equal powers. That's why they don't want to be on the retreating side. Ukraine started to cooperate with America and Turkey. Of course, we do not include the European support they have received. This being the case, the advancing crisis became a situation that Ukraine could not cope with. It didn't even have a navy to fight. For this reason, he started to participate in the works with his last strength. Of course, this is not a situation that Russia likes. However, he could not interfere with the exercise, which has been going on since 1977. However, the situation seems to have ended with the arrival of American and British ships in the region. To be honest, that's how it all started. After the exercise, the remaining and newly arrived ships continued to be in the area. This was a really big problem for Russia. Because for the first time in years, British and American heavy warships came to the region. And all his actions were against Russia. These ships often followed and harassed Russian ships. Russia even fired warning shots at the British ship. That's how far the situation had progressed. Despite this, retaliatory moves by the British were expected. He came too. This is our topic today. New measures taken by the British. No measures were stated in the statement made by the UK. However, it has been confirmed that the measures taken are sufficiently robust. As far as we know, the British are looking for Russian submarines with submarine helicopters. These tools are also called Merlin. They use sonar buoys to detect submarines. We also know that they use a few of them. However, there is no information about whether submarines belonging to the Russian side have been detected. After all, no state wants tension for nothing. If we continue, it is possible to see that Russia remains calm. But in the background, this is not the case. Russia throws bombs into the sea with its planes and aims to target the ships in the exercise. That's why he has a very strict and tough demeanor. He does not want any threat in the region except Ukraine. For the Russians, this is a soft and proportional force. But Russia's reluctance does not solve anything. Because other countries say that these are not Russian territorial waters. Of course, Russia has also started to take precautions for this reason. They blocked the way of the British Navy with MiG-31K and Tu-22 Ms. This duo carries tons of bombs and hypersonic weapons. In a possible conflict, we can say that the Russians can be successful in the first attack. But the next move by Britain and America could really hurt. Russia is also taking action. Deployed the most advanced anti-ship systems in the Black Sea. As you can see, it shows its weight in full on both sides. Both sides seem justified for their own purposes. One side says it has its own water. The other side says that these are international waters and they will use them. So can all these problems be solved? Or will it turn into a conflict? As a matter of fact, such a probability is really high. However, tensions are high in regions such as the Eastern Mediterranean. So we are not watching the first fights of America and Russia. We have never seen it, with the exceptions of world wars and exceptions. Of course, this may be an exception. Both sides seem really determined this time. But the silence of the British reduces this possibility to zero. Because they are in no hurry to make the right moves and they will do what is necessary. So we don't need to talk about the war part. Will these events ever end? To be honest, this process seems like it will never end. Because Ukraine does not intend to remain silent. These events have not been resolved for 100 years and, as expected, cannot be resolved today either. However, calming down between the parties will of course take place in the short term. Examples of this are many. There is one more point we should mention. States' perspective. After all, only these decisions can determine the end of the business. The President of Spain and the President of Lithuania attended the NATO meeting to explain the situation. Meanwhile, their connection was abruptly cut off. Then NATO airbase made a statement. He reported that there were Russian planes in the area. Yes, that's a perfectly normal explanation. But the weird part is in the other sentence. Everything works perfectly. It was the statement that we delivered the Russian planes in 15 minutes. In short, the meaning to be drawn from this is simple. NATO will now treat Russia much more harshly. They came out of standard defense and entered a combat position. The subtle message is that everything is perfect and as we expected.
Okay, so good enough. Salakia for the long video. But the point is, let's see, breaking Russian jets raid NATO meeting. NATO will benefit from Putin's move. Okay, so basically what's going on here is World War III. Okay, meaning the Most High is gathering the troops down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, let's go quickly to secret files. I know I went a little long on the intro, or you got to understand what's going on. All right, look at this. This is all about the war that is fomenting down in the Middle East and all around the world. That's why they call it World War III. All right, look at this. 2 days ago, the last update we had was on Friday, so this is Monday. What is that, 3 whole days? 2 days in between? Okay. Hack causes chaos on Iran's trains. Post Supreme what? Leaders number for complaints. Okay, so this is asymmetric war. World War III is not like World War II, where you got missiles and tanks and planes. You know, they barely had planes. Well, they had biplanes back then. Okay. Um, this is about cyber hacks, right? Destroying people's infrastructure, right? Where's this at? Biden pressure. Blasts in Iran near state broadcasting. They're taking down their communications. Is Tehran doing that to themselves now? Right? They got people on the inside running espionage missions. Okay? Sleeper cells. Okay, let me see. So you got all of these ships out here. What is this? Iran's Navy. Navy chief says vessels in the Atlantic are a message to the U.S. They're out there. Hey, the fighting is going on everywhere. Okay? Large explosion in Tehran. That's in Iran. All right? What's going on in China? Floods. There was a dam that was inoperable. If you could control the dams and flood a city out, because you can hack in to a computer operated dam system, Eastern Syria. Mossad behind attacks where? In Iran. Look at all the different places. Russia, Turkey. All right. China. Look, full-scale war. This is 5 days ago. Israel to strike Iran by air. If you can't see that this is World War III, all right? This is World War III. Okay? And it's not a conventional war. Right? What's going on? What they just had cyber polygon, right? What is cyber polygon? Okay, let me see. Let's see if we can do this. Cyber polygon. In Germany. What happened the day after on the 10th? It's 2 months, so they're not showing anything. 6 months. See how they're not showing anything? Eastern Germany hit with cyber attack. World Economic Forum begins cyber polygon event. Do you even know about this cyber polygon? There's a video on it. Go about 3 days back. Cyber polygon fragilistic expialidocious, something like that. All right? Find out what this is. Cyber polygon. Why this expert is sounding the alarm on a cyber pandemic? What's going on? What is the pandemic? Is that not germ warfare? Oh, it started in China and then it spread, and then who's benefiting from that? And the answer is the NWO. But if you understand that man's goings are of the Lord, God is making everybody do whatever you wake up and do that day. God is making you do it. Let's watch this real quick.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is LoftyCast. We have an important breaking story today. It actually was reported this morning by Reuters, and I believe they were the first ones to report it. But when you go on Google and even DuckDuckGo, I can't find the story now. But I was actually notified with my news app about this story, and you probably already know. In fact, I found another article, not Reuters, that actually quotes the Reuters article from this morning about this exact issue. Now, Germany supposedly is experiencing a cyber attack in a rural district of Germany. Now, in this district, there's about 158,000 residents, and they're saying the district of Anhalt-Bitterfeld in the eastern German state of Saxony says it was the victim of a cyber attack and has formally declared disasters after hackers infiltrated its computer systems. Now, this is what they're calling it, a cyber catastrophe. This attack directly affects the entire range of the district's services, including the businesses of its citizens, which cannot be processed at this moment. So it's affecting infrastructure. How interesting, because we all know what's happening right now. Well, what's happening right now? The World Economic Forum is putting on the Cyber Polygon, and they just started this yesterday on July 9th. And a day after, in a rural area of Germany, all of a sudden, 158,000 people, bam, they go offline. And now their infrastructure is effed.
Is this part of the war?
They're saying they're going to take care of the issue, and Germany has a disaster emergency right now that they're actually going to go into the town and supposedly protect these people from damage. But my guess, and you guys can be the arbiter of this, my guess is that they're actually using this real-life scenario in the cyber polygon at the World Economic Forum. There are a lot of powerful people right now involved with the World Economic Forum and this polygon event. In fact, I'll read you what exactly from their direct website. I'll leave links in the description below. You guys can check it out. They say, Cyber Polygon in 2021. This year's discussions during the live stream conference will center on secure development of ecosystems with global digitalization further accelerating and people, companies, and countries becoming ever more interconnected. Security of every single element of the supply chain is key to ensuring the sustainability of the whole system. Well,
How do you fight a war without your supply chain? Okay? Now, this is being hidden. All right? If you want to watch this video, the channel is Lofty Cast, July 10th, which I believe today is the 12th. Eastern Germany hit with cyber attack. World Economic Forum begins cyber polygon event. Okay? So here's what we do at this channel. We filter all news through the scriptures and let you know what's going on. All right? This right here has to do with them bringing in World War III. Excuse me, not World War III, the New World Order. This has to do with the New World Order. All right? Is this cyber warfare? This is cyber warfare against the masses. This isn't a World War III event. Now, World War III, the people believe that they are fighting to establish who is going to run the New World Order. That's why these countries are coming together to fight. They're all on the same side, which when the ambush happens, they're all going to come together to fight against the angels and the one you call Jesus, whose name is Yahushua. That's how together they are. But they are fighting each other. There's infighting about who's going to run the New World Order. And when you go to this cyber polygon thing, this is them bringing together their New World Order under a digital system, right? Money, everything has to be digital, right? Especially the money, which at that point you go here. Is it 13 Salakia? here's your money in the New World Order. And he causeth all, both great, Salaki, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right? That's the monetary system in the New World Order. All right? Let's put this in.
So you're finally supporting his.
All right, so all of this stuff comes together. And on this channel, you can best believe we'll be explaining everything.
The
as
most
it comes
cutting
together.
edge thing about Hannes Pureblad isn't the phone in his hand. It's the microchip actually in his hand.
See that NFC reader? That's on your phone. Go to where your flashlight is. You're going to see this NFC reader. What is he doing? Go on your phone where you turn on your little light. If you have an iPhone, I know that's where it is. You're going to see this tag reader. All right? Why?
The tiny implant is the latest advance in a biohacking technology
Biohacking?
that is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden.
We have created a new implant, which is not a chip, it's a full device.
So this whole hacking thing has to do with them bringing this in. Oh, well, in order to prevent biohacking, in order to prevent, hacking attacks, you got to do this.
You can add different lights, different vibration, different functions. Sweden is a very tech-literate society. And I think this is the main explanation, really, why a lot of Swedes are adopting chip implants.
Swedes haven't been shy about upgrading themselves with the new version. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives, waving their hand to gain entrance to the gym, confirm their ID, or make payments. A short moment of pain not putting them off becoming part Swede, part machine.
This event is an implant party, simply where ordinary people can show up and get a microchip embedded under their skin.
He causeth all, free, poor and rich, free and bond, and to have a mark, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save that he have the mark.
The biohacking movement in Sweden is hosting them all over Europe, but it's at home where they get the most willing recipients.
And you won't be able to participate in the New World Order unless you do this.
I think it's really cool. You don't have to carry any keys or anything. It's just your body. In maybe 10 years, everything will be in your hand.
In Sweden more than anywhere else, the future is already here. The national train company SJ has around 2,600 people signed up to use microchips instead of train tickets. And no need to mind the generation gap. 18-year-old Felicia and Father Magnus still bear the scars of their new implants.
Now, they're starting with that shot that they have everybody in the world taking. And from what I understand, that thing that they're making everybody take right now, which they say will prevent the pandemic or whatever, is an operating system for that chip, if you will.
Student Hannah Herving is also freshly chipped and now just needs to program it to open doors. Although, importantly for a future career, it does already connect to her LinkedIn.
Some people.
And her bank account and everything else. Okay, so keep ignoring the men of the Lord sitting here proving everything right out of the scriptures. Read it again. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, all meaning everybody in the world, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Let's get this. Your AIN chips. Or in his forehead. Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip demo explained 10 months ago. What else? What else do you want us to prove here? All right. So the troops are being gathered in the valley of Yehoshaphat. Why? Because Israel, the true Israelites, Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, right, are going to be the rulers of the kingdom of heaven, and the New World Order is not going to come to pass. A mischievous device. This is the New World Order. For they intended evil against thee. Against who? Let's see. This is 10. Thine hand, let's start here at 8. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. I know who my enemies are. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. We know who that is. I can go to Psalm 83 and point them out. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. This is the Most High. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour. I'll show you the fire. All right? Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. Why? For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device. What device? The NWO. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Okay? Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. What arrows? These arrows. This is the culmination, okay? So you got World War III jumping off, which is the gathering of the armies down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? For the ambush. And then the ambush, and what they're going to have after those armies get slaughtered, what's going to happen? They're going to shoot off them nukes anyway. All right? This is Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. How does that happen? All right? How does that happen? What plague?
Experience matters.
All right. So after the angels come in and perform the ambush and whoop that ass, they're going to launch those nukes anyway because it's the Most High's plan. All right? But before the missiles hit, there's going to be a POW extraction. And the chariots of Israel are going to perform the POW extraction. Okay? But this is the plague right here. This is the missiles. Now, this is going a little long, but welcome to Monday. World War III is going to end in nuclear annihilation. There's an acronym, MAD, M-A-D, which means Mutually Assured Destruction.
This one. Hey! Go!
Their eyes shall consume away in their holes, their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. This is called the lake of fire. There it is. All right? And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Okay. That's the plague. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins." Who's her? America. "And that ye receive not of her plagues." How do you come out of her, my people? Okay? How do you come out of Babylon the Great's plagues that you receive? Come out of her that ye be not partakers of her sins. Now, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a POW extraction before those missiles hit. Okay? Here's the voice from heaven. And they heard, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, who's them? The elect of Israel. Come up hither. And they, who's they? The elect of Israel, ascended up to heaven in a cloud. They got beamed up into what you call a UFO, and their enemies beheld them. I got to go back to, I guess this is it. Can I go back? And they ascended up to heaven. They got beamed up into a cloud. He maketh the clouds his chariot. Look at the clouds. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld. I'm going to look into this word great voice because this might have to do with the tractor beam, right? And their enemies beheld them. Who's their enemies? Those are the ones that are about to get beamed up. And those look like enemies to me. So, and then we get to this, all right? So after the extraction of the POWs, all right, who's they? The POWs. All right, ascended up to heaven in a cloud, just like the one you call Jesus did, just like Elijah did, just like Enoch did. Same way. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and they gave glory to the power of God from heaven. All right, let's see what the earthquake is about. That great earthquake is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. The instrument for his work is this.
Sip in the summer with new strawberry.
All right. Are these nuclear bombs? all these nukes go off, 200 million, what the Bible says, not me. When all these nukes go off at the same time, it's going to cause the earth to sway to and fro. 24 and 20. 24. This is Isaiah 24 and 18. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare, for the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. All right? Clean dissolved. That's what those nukes are going to do. All right? What is this? Okay. All right, so that's enough. All right. Let me see. Therefore, this is Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utter. Who is she? America, Babylon the Great. She shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. Okay? And then the kingdom of heaven. After the destruction, then the kingdom. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, all Israelites. And the people shall take them, who's them? The other nations, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them, who? We're going to make possessions of the other people like they did to us, shall possess them in the land of the Lord, in the land of Israel, for servants and handmaids, slaves, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Well, who had us in captivity? Our enemies did. And they shall rule over their oppressors. All right? Who had us in slavery? Huh? Who did this to us? The way collectors gift us with the lynching photographs. This was a sport back in the day. All right, that's enough.
Shalom Akim.
That's enough on that. All right, we know what it is. Okay? Look at this. Look at this. Okay? Now when you read this, it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Whose captives they were. Right? And they shall rule over their oppressors. Fuck is without sanctuary. All right, so anyway, that's the kingdom of heaven. It says, see, this is your heaven right here. He's ruling over these people and killing them with impunity. Kingdom of heaven, when the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Okay? And it shall come. This is talking about the restoration, God's restoration of Israel and the kingdom of heaven. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Okay? All right? All right, so with that, we hope that the elect of Israel were edified. All right? We'll have another World War III update tomorrow. It probably won't be as long and as extensive as this one, but hey, it's Monday. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.